In the past 60 years, Oakland University's fledgling campus has grown by leaps and bounds. The first buildings on OU's main campus were North and South Foundation Halls, erected on the west side of campus and opened in 1959. Half a year after ground broke on the foundation halls, construction on the Oakland Center began, culminating in its dedication in December 1959. The Oakland Center would see 3 additional major expansions in the following 60 years, the final culminating in 2018. In 1961, in an effort to bring student residents onto campus, the identical Anna Ball and Fitzgerald houses started and finished construction, adding the ability to house 192 students right on OU's campus. And to help students with their studies, Kresge Library was finished in September of the same year, opening its doors 7 months later in May 1962. Kresge would see an expansion in 1989 to better serve OU's growing student population. 1962 also saw the completion of Hanna Hall of Science, a building designed for instruction in engineering, physics, chemistry, and math, and the dedication of the Lepley Sports Center, which housed an Olympic-sized swimming pool, weight room, and centers for individual and group sports. Lepley Hall would see expansion, adding the home court of the current Golden Grizzly basketball and volleyball teams, the Arena. Prial Hall was finished in 1963, becoming the 3rd residence building on campus. The 6-story Hill House followed a year later in 1964, adding 200 beds to OU's residency. Also in 1964, the Kettering Magnetics Test Laboratory was built on the future OU Nature Preserve. In the decades following, the lab was shuttered, the building abandoned, and eventually torn down as the university aged. 1966 saw the construction of 4 new buildings: the 2 dorms, Van Wagner House and Vandenberg Hall, Wilson Hall, named after OU's benefactor Matilda Wilson, and the Central Heating Plant, an expanded version of the original that better served the rapidly expanding campus. The Graham Health Center opened in 1968 as a central place of wellness for the growing OU community. Dodge Hall was dedicated in the spring of 1968, housing Oakland's School of Engineering and the Department of Biology, and named after Matilda Wilson's first husband, John Francis Dodge. The 7th Residence Hall, Hamlin Hall, welcomed 676 OU students in 1968. The following year, Varner Hall broke ground, welcoming students of the arts into its halls in 1970. 1974 saw the completion of an observatory, also set in the OU Nature Preserve. Like the Kettering Lab, however, the observatory was closed and eventually torn down, allowing nature to reclaim the spot. A year later in 1975, the Public Safety and Service Building, housing the OUPD and various university services, was constructed on the western border of campus. In 1981, the first apartments were built on campus, the George T. Matthew Court, originally townhomes designed for students in pursuit or possession of spouses and children. 1981 also saw the culmination of a 3-year project, the construction of the all-glass exterior O'Dowd Hall. The last new building on campus until 1997 saw the doors of the Science and Engineering Building open. A year later, the new Recreation and Wellbeing Center opened in 1998, replacing the Lepley Sports Center as the Center for Student Health, with a state-of-the-art fitness and athletics facility. 2 years later, in 2000, construction on the home of the School of Business, Elliott Hall, was completed. Another set of apartments followed in 2002. The expansive Ann V. Nicholson complex added the ability to house over 450 more undergrads, graduates, and international students in a more private-style residence. Pauley Hall also opened its doors in 2002, housing the largest professional school on campus at the time, the School of Education and Human Services, and the appropriate new location for the Lowry Early Childhood Center, which had opened in the 1960s at the corner of Adams and Butler in the buildings that used to be part of the Poultry Group on Meadowbrook Farms. A lesser but just as necessary building was also finished in 2002, the construction of OU's first parking garage, located near Pauley Hall, adding much-needed parking space to the growing commuter-centric campus. Another decade of quiet existence, construction-wise, descended on campus, interrupted in 2012 with the completion of the Human Health Building, built to house the schools of nursing and health sciences. 2 years later, in 2014, the Elliott Tower sprang up at the heart of main campus, adding a recognizable landmark and a soundscape akin to older establishments of higher education to Oakland's campus. 2014 also saw the construction of the new home of the School of Engineering and Computer Science, the simply named Engineering Center. A third building was also completed in 2014. 45 years after Hamlin Hall was constructed, the 8th Residence Hall, Oakview Hall, opened on the northern edge of campus. Finally, 2014 brought the addition of a larger, more imposing 1,200-space parking structure near the new Engineering Center and Elliott, Varner, and Dodge halls, further addressing OU's persistent parking issues. With enrollment increasing, 2018 saw the birth of the 9th Residence Hall, and the first not located in the housing complex on the north side of campus, the sprawling 700-bed Hillcrest Hall.